Test 1 2 3 4 5. Test 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2 3 4 5. Hello, check. Thank you.
Testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Test. Practice. I'm in practice session. Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3 4.
I see on the screens. Take just a minute if you would, please.
Okay.
Testing 1 2 3. Okay, if you want to talk.
Check 1 2 3 4 5. Testing 1 2 3 4 5.
Yay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the Chesapeake Bay Restoration Fund Advisory Committee to order. And we will begin with introductions. I am Senator Mamie Locke, the Vice Chair of the Advisory Committee. And like my partner here to introduce himself, and then we'll go down to the lower tier.
I'm Delegate David Reed, representing the 32nd District, which is the eastern portion of Loudoun County.
Richard Moncure, middle school science teacher, Aylet Country Day School.
Hi, Tara Pascarosa, owner of Chesapeake Environmental. I'm from the Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area.
Okay. Thank you all. And what we are here to do today is to go through some grant proposals to spend some money here today. So we will go ahead and get started on these applicants for 2023 grant money. I'm going to get to that. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to that. But before we get started on the proposals themselves, we have to elect a chair. In accordance with subsection E of Code Section 30-256, which states that the committee shall elect a chairman from among its legislative membership. There are two of us. That's Delegate Reed and myself. So
I nominate Senator Locke for chair.
I second that.
okay. Any other nominations? Okay. So all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, Delegate Reed. We will also, the privilege of the chair, select a vice chair. And I would like to nominate Delegate Reed for vice chair.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor of Delegate Reed as vice chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all very much. So we will now consider the recommendation of grants. We have 38 applications for grants, and we have a total of $317,644.26 for these applications. So we will just go down the line of these applications, beginning with the first one, which is, and I'm probably going to mess up some names here, so please forgive me as we start. The Potomac Elementary School of Loudoun County, which has put in an application for $1,200, and they want to provide 100 fourth grade students to teach them about the Chesapeake Bay. Is there anyone here from the school to actually talk about this, or do we want to just discuss the proposal and move forward on it? Any questions about this proposal? This is a Title I school, and the students would use print and online resources to learn about plants and animals. They will partner with the Glen Echo Aquarium, and it's an opportunity for the students to experience live plants and animals from the bay.
I recommended full funding for this grant.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the Potomac Elementary School of Loudoun County be funded for $1,200 for their project. Is there any discussion on this proposal? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay. Moving on to proposal number 2, which is from the City of Pocoson's Events Office. Each year, the city has its it's Seafood Festival, and they educate individuals about the Chesapeake Bay, and they partner with VIMS, as well as the Virginia Museum of Natural History and the Virginia Aquarium, and teaching about environmental areas, and they are requesting a total of $1,800 to continue their further education of the public regarding the Chesapeake Bay environmental area. Any questions about this particular proposal?
Madam Chair, I would move that we award the grant for $1,800 for this, for the city of Pecos, and this is in line with their previous grants.
I second that. I've been to this festival. They do a great job.
Any questions? It's moved and seconded that we fund the City of Pocosa Events Office for $1,800 for their seafood festival events. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving right along to the Friends of the Occoquan, they are requesting $8,000 and for their biennial cleanup. And their proposal deals with water conservation.
I did have a question in regards to the request for, I believe it was $4,000 for a project manager. So just wanted to point that out.
Yes, that was one of the questions I had.
So I
too.
thought maybe minus that for the project manager and grant them half of the request.
Yeah, I had that down as well.
Yes, Madam Chair, you are prohibited from spending the funds for salary and staff expenses, and that would be staff's recommendation as well.
And Tara, where are you seeing the $4,000? Because I see project manager 2,500 and 3,500. Am I?
Sure. So if you look under page 2 of their grant proposal, you'll see the grant funds for project manager requested at 2,500. And then another 3,500 not coming from us. And then I saw another amount here. Yeah, I might have been mistaken on the 25. And maybe it's 25 and not 4.
Staff, is that your, Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
Staff, is that your understanding as well, or was this one of the ones that was an update?
So staff's recommendation was to fund for 5,500, so that would be the
Okay,
subtraction of the
perfect.
20.
Okay.
I think I just had a typo.
Okay.
Thank you for catching that.
So the recommendation is to fund for 5,500.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, was that, I'm sorry, Tara, was that a motion?
No, you're good. Yeah. All in favor.
Okay. So.
Aye.
Okay, the motion is to fund for 5,500. The Friends of the Occoquan, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay. That one passes. We are now down to the Nansemond River Preservation Alliance. They are asking for $17,700.
We do have a representative here from Nansemond River.
Come on up.
Thank you. NRPA is just delighted, really grateful for funding we received over the years. We started with a 7th grade program and a high school program, and 2 years ago, we did the 3rd grade program. And what's important about it is that the educational resources are hands-on, and the students are out in the field. They go on Marshfield Studies boat trips. And what we created is this, every child actually receives this map. And what you, I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's a map of Suffolk, but all the Hampton Roads region. So they can actually see that to the east is the Chesapeake Bay, and that you also have Portsmouth and Hampton. And it's also, this is the 3rd grade one. The 7th grade one is a different color, but it also has on it the different schools. So if you go to Nansemond Elementary School, it's actually, the student can actually see that they're located near the Nansemond River, therefore that's why it's named. But what's nice about it, it's a great learning tool. They learn about all the Suffolk waterways and the waterways in the region, and they also get to take this home and share it with their brothers and sisters and whomever. And then complementing that is that we created this learning kit. This is for the 3rd grade program, and what we have on this is, it's actually, we have a journal that we created that goes along with it, and the student gets to keep this, but they learn about oysters, and so they actually have a ruler that they measure. They learn metrics. This is the 3rd grade now, okay? They learn about that when the roads are flooded, you shouldn't walk through it because it's not healthy. And then also inside, they learn all about the marine life and wildlife. And so, and also here, the logo from the license plate is clearly displayed, and the child gets to take this home. And these are also the decals. These are educational. They're, I don't know if you can see them, but they're all marine life. And so there's oysters, there's osprey, there's periwinkles, and then the student gets to put them on here, and then they take them home and share them with their, once again, their brothers and sisters. And in the 7th grade program, this is the 3rd grade program, and then the 7th grade program builds upon this, and so it's really in depth. And then in the high school program, the students are actually in the field developing, conducting research and hands-on projects. And it's really the school system, Suffolk Public Schools, 55% of the students are on free or reduced lunches, and this is really a benefit to the students, and actually the students and the parents get involved with it also, which is a continuous event of our goal for everyone to become an environmental steward. And so I thank you.
How many students?
Excuse me? How many students go through this program? 2,100. And then we have students that went through our program when they were, that are now in college, and they come back and help during the summer months. But thank you.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
have
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. I know that during the pandemic, you had to suspend, I think, some of the boat trips and some of those other things. Have those things since been reinstituted, and could you share a little bit about the boat trips and how the children enjoy those?
Oh, absolutely, yes. The boat trips have been reinstated, and what we do is on the 7th grade programs, because of the timing issue, not all 7th grade students can go through on the boat trips. So they half of them go on the boat trips, and then the other half go on the Marshfield study, which we have at Bennett Creek Park, and there's 8 stations where they put on waders, they put on, there's a seine net that they actually collect specimens, they have a nature walk, and we also have Public Works Department that's out there with us, and they have a session on the student learning about GIS and infrastructure, because the goal of this is also to introduce the student to future career goals. And when they're on the boat trip, they leave out of the Chuckatuck Creek, go along the Nansemond River into confluence with the James, and they trawl, okay, get whatever's out there that day, and it's really, they learn, they have fish, there's crabs, shrimp, lately a lot, anchovies, and the students then, what's so nice about this is the first time when most of the students, this is the first time on a boat. And so they're in the 7th grade, and they're getting over this fear. Of course, they have life jackets on, and actually they continue then when they're in high school and then also beyond. It's been a really fun experience over this last 9 years, and I appreciate your funding. So thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay. Do we have a motion on?
Go ahead, Delegate.
I make a motion that we fund the grant request for $17,700.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion to fund the Nansemond River Preservation Alliance for $17,700. Any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay.
I also just want to give a shout out to Elizabeth. She's retiring in March, and she's been such a wealth of support for the Nansemond River Alliance, and we're gonna miss you a lot in the environmental community. So I know you won't go far though.
No, trust me, the person that, they're in the search mode right now, but they're strong candidates, and also the board is super, and I don't know if you know this, but the people in Suffolk are super also. But thank you.
So
Thank you.
So if we want to come see you, we have to come see you before March, huh?
That's right.
Well, no, I'll still be in the neighborhood, as they say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Peter Francisco Soil and Water Conservation District. And they are asking for $10,500 for their watershed education experiences, to support Title I schools, field trips, exploration camp, and wildlife field day. I have one question on this one. No, I think I answered my own question. Because there was food in there for $800, but I think they are paying for that. Okay.
I have a question, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Yes.
It appeared, and I'm not sure if somebody's here to answer the question, but it appears that in the past, this has been $6,000, $7,000, and this is an increase up to about $10,500. And I was just curious if anyone could speak to what the increase was covering.
I'd have to look at my notes from the past to compare that, but I almost feel like they're not getting as much support from another fund or another grant this time around. But I could compare my notes and find out for sure from the past, since I've been on this committee for quite some time.
I thought they were.
Madam Chair, it's also the
Increasing.
case that many of these field experiences have gone up in price through time, just as a result of, increasing fuel and staffing and materials prices. So I think that's something that we will see reflected in a lot of the applications that you'll be looking at today.
I do have to advocate for them by saying this is a huge reach. Approximately 3,500 students, over 200 students, and there's a lot of students in this grant. So I do love the reach.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about this particular project?
I recommended full funding for this.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we fund the Peter Francisco Soil and Water Conservation District at $10,500. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay, that one is funded. We will now move to the Tidewater Oyster Gardeners Association. That's dealing with oyster growth and aquaculture and building an educational oyster reef. And they're doing this in collaboration with the Waterman's Museum. And they're asking for $9,900.
I love this project. I've actually seen some of their oyster reefs too in Westmoreland State Park, where I worked with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation on their grasses project. So it's really great to see this work on the oysters and ecology of the bay.
And Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Tara, it seems that you're familiar with this. Just out of curiosity, it appears that they're asking for us to fund the total amount of the project. Is that pretty typical, or are there times when, it appears, at least in many of the other ones, that there is additional funding from some other source?
You have reps here.
Oh,
Oh, come on.
Oh, perfect.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
yes. So if you could.
So these are all partial breakdowns. We reach about 1,000 to 1,200 school students. We did 16 outreaches last year for schools. We do adult outreach. So we have an overall budget that we raise otherwise of about $22K. So what this does, it supplements our adult education efforts with publications. We used your money last year and the year before for Westmoreland State Park. We also used it down at Hampton High School because we put a demonstration reef in with Hampton High School. And those are the kind of things we do. What we do is we buy materials, since we're not able to buy services and things like that with the grant money, and we use that. And we have we're not a big organization. There's about 620 families that run from Westmoreland County on the Potomac down to Cape Charles Light. And we build all the equipment with the students and things. So what we do is we cut them, make them to the right shape and prepare them. And then we go with the students and actually have them assemble it and put it in the water. And then we provide the spat. We put about 500,000 oysters a year into Chesapeake Bay. Our sole purpose is a bunch of people trying to put oysters in the bay for aquaculture. We work with VIMS and other organizations. Other questions?
No, that's good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Any additional questions?
I make a motion that we award the full amount of the grant.
I second that.
Okay, moved and seconded that we fund Tidewater Oyster Gardeners Association $9,900. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all very much. We are now down to item number 7 in Newport News Public Schools, asking for $15,000. They propose to continue to provide all 7th graders with field experiences in 2 days of professional development. They partnering with the Virginia Living Museum's Chesapeake Bay Ecology Lab program, which would accommodate all of the students that they want to provide with these experiences.
One thing I've noticed with this grant proposal is that they've continued to receive funding from other organizations also. And in the years past, because we didn't have a surplus of money, we had to sort of decrease some of their funding, I know in 2021. And so I propose to fully fund this one as well.
I'll second that.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we fund the Newport News Public Schools $15,000 for their program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, we're moving down to project number 8, which is Booker T. Washington Middle School. And they want to continue with their, let's see, they have a kayak program to collect water samples and marine species. And it's a 3-day experience to take their students to Port Isabel Island. And they are requesting $6,600 to do this.
I love this as well. I know I'm speaking up every time, but I think this is a great project.
And what I like about this is many of these kids have never been on a kayak before.
That's right. And I love that they're doing it on a kayak, right?
Yeah, right.
And this is, I think, fairly new. I don't remember seeing that they were doing this actually on the water before in a kayak. So what a great experience.
And if
I also like that they wrote in that they prioritize students who have not had the opportunity to go on an experience. I think that that's always good to know how someone's being chosen and making sure that they're really targeting kids that need an experience like this.
100%.
And if I can ask a question, Madam Chair, it's like is this like a 3-day camping trip or just 3 consecutive days?
Port Isabel, typically they stay there.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yes. So it's very hands-on.
Immersive.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to award the full grant for this.
I second that.
Moved and seconded that Booker T. Washington Middle School be funded $6,600 for their program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, moving along to project number 9, which is, make sure I pronounce this, Isaac Walton League of America Incorporated, Virginia Save Our Streams program. And they're seeking funding for the continuation and expansion of their Save Our Stream Creek Critters and Salt Watch program.
While I love the proposal, I don't love that there's not a detailed project budget. And I know that this was an issue in the past as well. So I just curious why they didn't allocate where the funding was going specifically. It just sort of says.
Tara, is that not down on the very last page?
Did I miss something? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I think that there is a Mid-Atlantic coordinator position that I'm not sure. I think that is that not a position?
Yeah, I wondered about that 6,000 too.
And the
Now that I'm-
$2,000, it's after that for fringe benefits. I'm not
Right.
sure that we're allowed to, underneath the grant guidelines, to cover that $8,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct,
Staff
right.
recommendation would be to reduce the grant award by the $8,000 for salary and fringe benefits.
So to 17,000.
To 17K.
There was something else I looked at actually. Staff time fringe benefits Attendance and exhibition at conferences for program promotion. I guess that's okay, actually.
Where do you see that, Tara?
I'm looking at my notes right now because I have that in my notes, but I don't even know where I got it from if I didn't see the money to begin with, if I overlooked that. But I'm in favor if everyone else is, and granting them minus the fringe benefits and salary.
So I have down 17K.
Yes, so I'd make the motion to award 17,000, taking out the staff and fringe benefits that are not allowed underneath the grant funding guidelines.
I second it.
Moved and seconded that we fund Isaac Walton League of America Virginia Save Our Streams program for $17,000. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay, that one's funded. Moving to Northumberland County Public Schools. Northumberland Elementary School is seeking funding to add vegetation and beauty to their courtyard and outdoor learning space on their campus and engage their students in outdoor environmental experiences. They're asking for $6,350.
So my only question about this, I don't know the school or the location. I would be curious as much as I of course I like the idea of landscaping and learning about that space, but I'm just curious about impact on water and if there's a local tributary or some space where they can showcase that. I'm just a little curious to that.
I live in Northumberland County. It is near, the three schools, all the schools are on one campus because it's a county school, and they do back up to a swampy water source that does feed the bay.
Great, thank you.
I propose that we fully fund this one.
And we have funded them previously too.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we fund Northumberland County Public Schools for $6,350. All in favor, please say aye.
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 We now move to Virginia Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts Educational Foundation, and they're asking for $12,000 and for environmental program, and they're asking for their outreach program competition for high school students, natural resource management and conservation.
Everything looks good in this one to me. Did anyone see anything else that was glaring that didn't work out?
I mean, nothing jumped out.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it looks like that there's some things in here for education or educator professional development, but that could also potentially come out of their own money that they're raising as part of the total budget of 66,000.
And I know we've
Oh, I
funded.
see. Down here is what they're asking for from us. The area
Right.
competition, the local.
They're getting some from Dominion Energy and Smithfield as well.
I'd make a motion that we award the $12,000 requested.
I second that.
Moved and seconded that we fund the James River Association Soil and Water Conservation District Educational Foundation for $12,000. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Okay, that one is funded. We now move to the James River Association, which seeks to monitor chlorophyll levels at 12 stations in the tidal portion of the James River. They're looking for funding for chlorophyll testing supplies, and they're seeking an amount of $7,619.
Hey.
Hi. I am happy to answer any questions that you all have here from the James River Association.
Any questions regarding this one?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a question. So you've been monitoring the chlorophyll levels?
We haven't been doing chlorophyll monitoring. We've been doing other water quality monitoring for the past 10 years.
And what would your assessment be of the quality of the water that you've been monitoring for the last 10 years? Is it getting better or is it getting worse?
It's getting better.
Okay.
We can say that our primary purpose of our water quality testing program as it is currently is to let recreational users know if it's safe to swim in the water. So that's our primary purpose. These two additional things that we're trying to do testing for are above and beyond that primary purpose. The first one, looking at chlorophyll. There's new chlorophyll standards for the James River, and those are of concern because of harmful algal blooms that can be problematic for human health. And then the second one, 2 of our water quality testing stations have consistently had really high bacteria results. And we've been previously working with the Hampton Roads Sanitation District to try to track down to see if we can figure out, is it sewage, is it septic pipes, or they're leaking? And those results basically showed that there was no human sewage in the bacteria. So we're trying to do additional testing to figure out if we can figure out what it is, if it's dog parks, if it's geese, if there's anything that we can do. So we're trying to track down the source of those high levels so that we can try to get those stations into better bacteria quality for recreation.
Very good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I propose that we fully fund this one. It looks like they've done a great job, allocating other funds and matching funds for their personal costs. So great organization.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that we fund the James River Association for $7,619. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And if I may ask a request of Ms. Riley, just let us know what the results of your tests are next year. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we now move to Burt Neck Elementary PTA. And they are asking for their 4th and 5th graders, and they are partnering with the Brock Environmental Center, and this is their first time applying. They want to to give these students the opportunity to attend field programs and provide funding for teachers to attend a 5-day training at Chesapeake classrooms and to improve and expand their butterfly garden. They are asking for $11,720.31.
I have personally seen the butterfly tower gardens, and I just thought they did a really good job here with a lot of details and photos. We don't often get a lot of photos like this, and allocating it to the penny of how much they actually needed. There's no rounding going on here, so just wanted to 100% give fully funding.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded that Burt Neck Elementary PTA be funded for $11,720.31. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. When I do think, even though we fully funded it, I think there are representatives that mentioned they may be here if we had any questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, we will now move to Virginia Tech, Virginia Cooperative Extension, Westmoreland and Richmond Counties 4-H, seeking $1,900 for their Water Wizards Day Camp, Education for Youth. They are also seeking supplies to update their school program, day camp supplies, and charter boat fees.
This one's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay. Moved and seconded that we provide $1,900 to the Virginia Tech's Virginia Cooperative Extension. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you very much. We're now moving to Clean Virginia Waterways, Longwood University, asking for $6,200. And they are asking for this funding to promote their health of the water resources. They do coastal cleanup, pollution prevention, and they do these annual cleanups and statewide river and beach cleanups each year. So that's what they will use the funding for.
I'll move that we fund the grant at 100%.
I second it.
Moved and seconded that we provide Clean Virginia Waterways at Longwood University, $6,200. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Let's see, we're now down to Bedford County Public Schools, asking for $7,850 in partnership with the James River Association. They're seeking funds for 200 students from Staunton River Middle School to receive 2 separate engagements with the James River Association environmental educators, and to help with their SOLs and promote scientific investigatory skills.
I love this one a lot because it's in a different part of the state that we don't always see, so.
And it also looks like that they've identified that it would be over 200 students who would be participating, which I think is a really good, value for what we're investing here.
Right.
Agreed.
So I'll make a motion to fund this at its full amount.
I second it.
Moved and seconded that we fund Bedford County Public Schools, $7,850. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one is approved. We now move to Boxerwood Education Association. This one is seeking funding in the amount of $9,800 for hands-on environmental education, for bus transportation, program fees, to deal with native trees planting and school program fees, to deal with, lost my place. They are seeking grant funds to ensure students in the 7th grade from 2 low-income schools and 5 teachers to participate in a 3-day, 2-night residential program led by CBF educators. The trip will be to Smith and Fox Islands.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to ask staff, because I think that in the past, I see in here that there's $1,650 for staff, co-facilitation, and also substitutes for teachers. Do we put in our award letters that the funds that we're providing are limited to the items that are allowed underneath the grant so that they know that it's not going to be used for these personnel expenses?
Yes, correct. So for this application, we would be unable to fund the $500 for the food, the $1,650 for Boxerwood staff co-facilitation, and as well as the $1,080 for the school substitutes.
But because the request amount is still much less than the overall budget, we just have to be sure that we clarify. Okay.
You are certainly within your discretion to award them the whole amount with that restriction in place, yeah.
I would make that motion, Madam Chair.
Okay.
I second that.
So we're doing the $9,800, but with the understanding that you can't use it for the, okay. So it's been moved and seconded that we award the $9,800 to Boxerwood Education Association. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one is approved. We are now down to number 18, which is Hampton Roads Planning District Commission, which is, they are continuing with their 21 grant application. They propose for all neighborhoods, community groups, and property managers the ability to install, maintain, and promote the purpose and use of pet waste stations, to apply for a free pet waste station through the Regional Pet Waste Station Grant Program. They also want to conduct 4 rain barrel workshops to help residents build affordable rain barrels, and residents will also receive a Virginia native plant. Finally, they want to have the ability to have available free of charge to any groups in Hampton Roads fundraiser car wash kits to address polluted stormwater discharges from fundraiser car washes. And they are asking for $17,355 to accomplish these goals.
This is one of my favorite applications because it reaches 17 cities in Hampton Roads, and they're incorporating so much, the rain barrels, the car wash kits, the pet station. So I propose and make a motion to fully fund it.
Because I use their pet station.
Me too.
I'll second it.
It's moved and seconded that we fund the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission at the amount of $17,355. All in favor, please say aye.
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 So we're now down to James City County Department of Parks and Recreation, asking for $9,160 to continue to offer educational programs for children. They're seeking funds for their Chesapeake Bay Explorers Camp for every child to participate in the Rec Connect, Days of Discovery Therapeutic, and the Out Neighborhood Summer Camps at no additional cost to the child.
Pretty amazing reach.
Yeah. And it's to help the children to study the Bay watershed, learn the importance to the community about water quality, and how to protect local wildlife and fisheries.
Madam Chair, I move that we award the full amount.
I second it.
Moved and seconded that we fund James City County Department of Parks and Recreation $9,160. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are now down to Sustainable Chesapeake, which is asking for $15,000 to support their proposal to accelerate the adoption of cover crops that promote healthy soils and clean water. They also want to expand their technical assistance capacity and support the Virginia Innovation Roundtable by building a network of Virginia farmers.
We don't see a lot of proposals that incorporate agriculture and farming directly like this, so I was a big fan of this one as well for its uniqueness.
If that's a motion, Tara, I'll second it.
Thank you, yes.
Moved and seconded to fund a Sustainable Chesapeake at an amount of $15,000. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that one is funded. We now move to Northside High School Science Department, and they are asking for a huge amount of $475. Their science department is seeking funds for a field trip to a local state park to perform an assessment of the creek. And the funds will cover the bus trip and the supplies for the chemical testing kits.
I only wish they'd asked for more. So I motion to fully fund it.
So I'm going to ask a technical question. I'm not opposed to it, but is this within the Chesapeake Bay watershed? And does that limit our options?
It is anywhere in Virginia's, right? Yes, we've funded places in Southwest Virginia before.
Okay, all right, I'll second then.
Moved and seconded that Northside High School Science Department be funded $475 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. That one is funded. We now move to King William County Public Schools, asking for $8,800 to send 110 students and their chaperones to Tangier Island, and for kayaking and canoeing on the James River in an effort to introduce students to the ecosystems associated with the James River. Students will begin researching and present their findings on how the ecological crises is interconnected with the region's social crises and regional identity, inequity.
Again, this is another one of my favorites. I love that they're heading to Tangier. Even the mayor of Tangier, who debated Donald Trump, Al Gore on climate change back in the day, is now saying that it's actually happening. So to see that firsthand for a lot of these folks who would never have that experience, given that 35% of the students receive free or reduced lunch, and most parents don't have college degrees. I just think it's a great project, pretty unique as well.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded that the King William County Public Schools be funded at an amount of $8,800 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, that one is funded. East Rockingham High School is requesting $13,093 for their biology students to visit one of CBF's educational study centers for a 3-day, 2-night residential study program. They want to analyze water quality at their local river in 3 different locations. They want to purchase probeware in order to do this study.
Madam Chair, if I can ask staff a question. Underneath the transportation of this, there is bus driver salary, transportation to and from the marina. There's bus driver salary as well. I'm assuming that that also qualifies as a staff cost that we can't cover.
Correct.
Okay, so we'd need to deduct that out from, unless they've already done that, and that's the reason why it's 13,093 instead of 13,900. I haven't done the math.
I didn't do the math either, but I have that in my notes. So I think if we calculated that and took that amount off, then I would file a motion to fully fund it minus the staff cost.
I'm doing the math while we're sitting here.
I got 13,445 if we take out the bus driver salaries.
And the amount that they're requesting is 1393, so that's all acceptable then.
And we can do the caveat in the
Okay.
letter as well.
Is how much?
Great.
So they've requested 1393, and she was saying that if you took out the salary cost, it would be 13,400. So they've asked for enough to cover the acceptable expenses.
Okay.
And so, Madam Chair, I'd make a motion that we award the 13,093 with the caveat in the letter that the funds are not to be used for staff expenses.
I second that.
Okay, moved and seconded that East Rockingham High School be funded at $13,093. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, we now move to Blue Ridge Land Conservancy, asking for $1,940. They're proposing a 3-day Bay Day excursion for 4th grade Botetourt County Elementary School students to Camp Bethel near Buchanan, Virginia, and Wilson Creek. There will be 4 workstations partnered with your outdoor classrooms, Mountain Castles, SWCD, Western Virginia Water Authority, and Clean Valley Council.
This is a lot of staff and project manager costs, and correct me, I had a hard time when I was trying to figure out what they wanted to use for the 1940. Did anyone else see the clarification there? I know there's like some paper and printing and things like
Yeah, I
that.
had a question marked by the project manager stuff.
And Tara, I'm looking at the information down here underneath the project budget, and again, it appears that there are some things where project manager is intended to be CBRF funded, which is us, and it can't be.
That's right, exactly. And I think the same too with like the outdoor classroom educator and the Clean Valley Council educator as well. So they've specifically asked for funding from us for that. And then there's fuel, location rental.
So if we subtract the project manager, the classroom educator, and the council educator, that would leave $900 for the Camp Bethel location rental and the fuel. Or actually only just I must be missing $50 in my calculation, but those are the two items on their list that we would be able to fund based on the guidelines.
And I mean, they're getting the paper and printing in kind already, so sometimes we've, allocated the funding for other expenses of theirs and sort of put a caveat for that, but I don't really see a lot of other things to allocate that funding for besides the fuel and the location rental.
Right, and
Am I right? I mean,
I mean, that's the same thing that I'm seeing.
so I mean, it's a great project. I just wish there was something that we were able to fund more than just the rental and the fuel. But I propose, were you going to say something else? I'm sorry. Propose a motion just to pay for those two items.
And how much is that?
How much?
950.
I'd second that, Tara.
So the motion is to fund Blue Ridge Land Conservancy $950, correct?
Yes, Madam Chair.
ma'am.
All right.
And Madam Chair, if I might be able to amend Tara's motion that in the letter, it should be explicit what the funds can be used for. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. So it's been moved that Blue Ridge Land Conservancy be funded at $950.
And if I might add one thing too, I know in the past we've done this where we let them know, like, the reason you're not getting the funding is because it explicitly says we cannot pay for staff costs. And then that way they don't make the same mistake again. So if we could do that for any of those that we're not funding for staff, that would be, I think, be real helpful for these applicants in the future.
All right, so those in favor of the $950, please say aye.
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 Okay, all right, thank you. We now down to Bull Run Mountains Conservancy Incorporated. They are asking for $1,200, and they are seeking funding for scholarships for workshop youth, ages 15 to 18. And they are asking that these youth to become watershed ambassadors. Let's see. And that these young people would travel to different sites. Students will better understand the watershed and things that impact it. They will also see how pollution and other factors affect the watershed and discuss restoration possibilities.
It all, excuse me, it all looks good here to me, and it's 6 students, so I wish there was a larger reach, but it's a good project. So I motion to fund the full amount.
Second.
Moved and seconded that Bull Run Mountain Conservancy be awarded $1,200 for their Chesapeake Watershed Workshops project. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. We're now down to, is it Alet? Alet County Day School, asking for $11,470. They're seeking funding for field trips to Camp Horizons Outdoor Learning Retreat, Tangier Island, and Virginia's Eastern Shore. They want to support watershed experiences and 3 hands-on restoration projects at several watersheds and tributaries. And this will expand environmental education opportunities for students and educators.
Again, I love this one. I love that it's incorporating Tangier Island. I don't know how much longer people will be able to visit that place in the future. So any chance you get, go check it out. And I didn't see any discrepancies here for the amount they requested from us.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we award the full amount.
I second it.
Moved and seconded that Alet Country Day School be awarded $11,470 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're down to Frederick County Public Schools, seeking funding to provide high-quality teaching and learning opportunities related to environmental literacy to all fourth grade teachers and students. The funding would go toward 2 field trips to Blandy Experimental Farms, outdoor learning experiences, and they're asking for $18,400.
I feel like there's a stipend in here for teachers for $5,000.
Right, for $5,000 for teacher stipends.
Yep, and that seems like we need to take that out. Did anyone see anything else that we can't cover?
Well, what I'm curious about is that part of what they're asking for from us? Because it looks like the total project budget is $34,400.
I was curious as well. So I guess, like we've done on a few others, if we motion to fully fund the project, but let them know that we will not be paying for the teacher stipends, I just don't know what they're asking for us specifically. Does anyone else?
I think that was requested from us, the stipends.
Yeah, the stipends it is marked as paid from the restoration fund.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
So then I would say that we would reduce it by $5,000 and make this $13,400.
That sounds like a winner. I second that.
Okay, so there's that the motion. Okay.
Can I ask why then so the bus transportation, is that in kind then? Because that's at 16,000, has an asterisk, but I don't understand why it's, if that's covered, I guess.
You mean, are they covering it?
Yeah. Because I'm just confused by, I'm assuming they're covering it, but I just, if they're struggling between the two and we can't cover the stipend, the bus transportation has this cost. So I'm not that we can cover that. I mean, I think that, but I feel like this needs to be fleshed out better, at least in the future, to understand, because it's a little confusing to me. I get that the bolded is probably what they want from us with the restoration funds, but there's a asterisk bus transportation as well. So I'm just.
Yeah, I think we were all a little confused by this one too. So maybe we just be a little bit more explicit. That's a good suggestion.
And considering that this is Frederick County Schools, so I'm not sure how, bus transportation would just be provided for, I assume, by the county.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's a little confusing. I still think it's a good project and it's worth funding, but just we need to add those caveats, right? That we can't pay for stipends, and that we'd like to know where exactly the bus transportation is coming from. If not from us, why does it indicate that it's us with an asterisk?
Right. And professional development is coverable, correct? Because that's just education for the teachers. And that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, we've covered that in the past. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so we're doing this at 13,400.
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion on that.
Oh, motion for 13,400.
I second it.
Okay, moved and seconded that Frederick County Public Schools be funded at 13,400. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, we're now at 4 Mile Run Conservatory Foundation, asking for $1,000 to fund materials and equipment for land and kayak-based litter cleanups at Lower 4 Mile Run in Arlington and Alexandria to conduct 40 or more litter cleanups in the area.
I motion to fully fund this one.
Second.
Moved and seconded that 4 Mile Run Conservatory Foundation be awarded the $1,000. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Lilburn Downing Middle School is asking for $11,500 to support their efforts to take 54 students to the Chesapeake Bay to learn about Smith Island and the balance of commercial crabbing and protecting the crab population.
This one was I wasn't sure what was being allocated for us. I mean, I love the project. I don't think we pay for hotels for bus drivers, though. I know that's mentioned in there. I don't know. I like the project, though. I just didn't know if anyone else had any other questions about where the funding is going.
Does anyone know what there's $8,700 here for CBF program fees, and that's kind of generic.
It doesn't tell.
Yeah.
It's the Chesapeake Bay Foundation for the field trips that
Okay, thank you.
for them. Yeah, that's the contractor fee.
Yeah, so it is, and it is a lot of kids. I mean, well, it's 54 kids, yeah. It's a good project.
But again, the $3,900 for the bus and hotel for the driver, is that typical? And food also.
Food, that was
We're-
$10.50 for food.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not typical to have a $3,900 charge for a bus.
And a hotel.
No.
Not at all. And honestly, for 54 students, that 8,700 seems high. I don't know if this is a title.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. It seems very high for the ratio of, like, if you break down cost per child, it just seems.
I mean, as much as I love the project, I feel like they didn't do a good job of itemizing anything. So it's hard to say like, oh, that's great. We'd love to fund you. But I mean, a few of the other grants have a price of, I think, like $400 per student for Title I schools for the CBF program. So this, I don't know. It's definitely, it's just hard to designate what we can give them.
I also don't understand the funding expectation. I don't know what that means.
Me either.
Like, it's $2,700 per. I just don't understand what that is.
And I don't know what we're not paying for. Let's see. It's number 29. And they've never received funding before. Is this their first time applying?
That's correct.
And I mean, I hate to not give them anything, but it's not a great application.
We can always write to them and say, unfortunately, your application was denied due to a lack of clarity in the project description. And offer them to please reapply and pay
Right.
careful attention to
Detail.
And in the course of doing that, are you able to kind of explain to them that we don't pay for the hotel, we don't pay for the food, and you need to explain, because it's like, again, there's just a great deal of uncertainty about this. It's like Tara was saying, it looks like it's a good program, but there are certain things that we're not allowed to fund, and what then is left is kind of ambiguous.
It is. I mean, it's almost like giving someone an A for like an E effort on a proposal. It's unfortunate, but we don't know what we're giving them money for. What if we give them just 800 for the ferries? They won't be able to do the project anyway.
Right.
So I think we just advise that they apply again next year. I mean, it makes me sad to do that. If someone was here from the school,
Right.
that would be great.
Right.
You know.
Agreed. Yeah. It would be nice to have that because some of their project schedule even makes sense, or they're, I mean, they've got some ideas, but at the same time, like, it's just hard to, this is not a line item budget, unfortunately. Somebody needs to kind of explain to them that it needs to just be better clarified
Right.
Yeah, and it looks like.
what we can't do.
Yeah, agreed. It's almost like just reach out to Becky Sanders personally and say
Right.
like, we love your idea. Let's make it happen next year.
Yeah.
Again, kind of makes me sad, but
Yeah.
so do we, I don't even want to be the one that says like a motion to not fund it at all, but I don't know what else we can do.
We just pass it by.
What'd you say? What did you say, Senator Locke?
We'll just pass it by.
We'll just make a motion to provide them with better instruction and to apply next year.
That sounds
Yes.
like a winner.
Yeah.
So we move to Rivanna Conservation Alliance Education Project. They're asking for $10,000 to expand their sixth grade MWEE program to reach 1,000 students in Albemarle County and 300 seventh grade students in the city of Charlottesville. The participants will learn about water quality, stream investigations, on a full-day field trip, planting trees and native meadows, and creating educational signs.
Love it. I motion to fully fund it.
There is what
They
appears
have
to
some
be
direct staff
$2,000
expenses.
Oh, I missed it.
$2,000 in staff expenses
Right.
that we'll need to-
Oh, I'm sorry, I must have overlooked that. Oh, you're right.
So it looks like 6,000, 7,500.
So is that staff, is it paying their it's the expenses for the planning and coordination recruit, okay, I guess it is, yeah, classroom activities.
So then.
Well, this another one where I feel like it's written a little poorly because it could be that they're fully aware that they can't cover staff expenses where they're bringing that up, and maybe there's a different way they could have defined that. But unfortunately, they didn't. So it looks like it's specific to staff expenses where they could have some other line items that might have been coverable, but it's just not written that way.
So then does that mean that we take out the $2,000 and recommend approval of 8?
8,000.
So that would be for
Yeah.
7,500?
No, I think it would be 8, 6,000, 1,500, and which is 7,500, and then the
okay.
500 down at the supplies.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, the other choice would just be to do, I mean, you could say we're going to give you 9,000 because we're going to pay for all the supplies and the community education.
Right.
And we could just give them the entire 10 because it looks like that if you look at the first one, they're asking for 12, but they're going to provide 6 and we're going to provide 6.
And then there's other,
Right. So we could just do the 10 and again explicitly say it can't be used for these things that are in that category of 40,000 and 28,000.
Right. It can't go into the implementation of the MUE program.
Right.
Which looks to be explicit to staff expenses.
Yeah.
So I think if they can manipulate, sorry.
Then they have a second project too.
So I think I'd like to make a motion that we award them the $10,000, but explicitly identify that it can't be used for the implementation, the staff expenses,
Right.
those type of non-allowable expenses.
I second that.
Okay. Moved and seconded that Rivanna Conservation Alliance Education Project be awarded $10,000 with the understanding that it can only be used for allowable expenses. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the next project is also Rivanna Conservation Alliance, engaging the Rivanna community in protecting water quality. This one will work with community partners to address high priority water quality concerns. And this one involves hundreds of community volunteers and hands-on restoration work, improving the water quality and ecosystem health in the Rivanna River and Bay. And this one is requesting $9,500.
Madam Chair, I believe that we can take the same approach because they have contractor support in here where they're splitting the cost. But I think that based upon the overall budget amount, we could make a motion to award the $9,500 and just explicitly say again that it can't be used for contractor staff,
Right.
those type of non-allowable expenses. And if that's the case, I'd be willing to make that motion.
I would be willing to second that as well.
Okay, moved and seconded that the Rivanna Conservation Allowance be awarded $9,500 with the understanding that it can only be used for allowable expenses. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're down to Mountain Castle's Soil and Water Conservation District. proposing to partner with Botetourt County Public Schools to provide meaningful Bay field experiences in grades 2, 6, and 7. The second grade program will focus on the role of forest land and local in the Bay watershed protection and the interaction between local plants, forests, and wildlife. They're asking for $8,450.
I didn't do the math on this. There was like some question I had about it. I mean, I love the project. It looks great. I just want to double check that math on 325. I think it's good to go. I propose we fully fund it.
If I can, if I'm looking at this, if the project is $12,000 and the $3,750 is employee wages and supplies to perform the project activities, it would be $8,250. Am I doing that math right?
So the math that I did was 325 students times $26 per person is $8,450.
Okay.
And that's what I was trying to confirm. So that's where I think they came up with that, not the wages.
Right, and I think what we have here is that in the application, they've got total project budget is $12,000, but then they have a total down below of being $13,700. So I think you're right, Tara.
Okay, great.
So I think the $8,450 is okay.
I propose, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, I don't mean to, but they did put in ACA certified guides for the paddling. I don't know how that included or if that.
Yeah, I saw that too, but if they hadn't put that in there and it just said, you know, for the experience on the water, because,
Right.
you know, any experience that these folks are taking on the kayak tours are going to be with a guide, right? All of these projects that we funded. So I think that is okay.
You want them to have.
Yeah, you don't want them
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, I'm
it's different
definitely not
than like a
saying they should.
stipend or a salary because they have to have these guides in order to have the experience, I think.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
All right, so Tara, I second your motion.
Okay, great.
Moved and seconded that, where am I? Oh, the Mountain Castles, is that where I am? Okay. Soil and Water Conservation District be awarded $8,450 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We are now down to Thomas Jefferson Soil and Water Conservation District, asking for $2,006.09. And they propose to partner with a local camp that allows Albemarle and Charlottesville fourth grade students watershed education experiences. And they want to create a Go Explore classroom kits that teachers within their district can use to provide outdoor exploration during class time.
I love this.
Me too.
Yeah.
And
I love.
yeah, it's so sweet. And I mean, they really did their homework on like the prices for everything. I mean, it's great.
Right? To the 9 cents.
Exactly. I wish more schools knew about this so like more schools could get funding for little things like this. Like it's really great.
This is just one of those things where you want to highlight and say what's achievable because I mean $2,000. I mean imagine the impact if like so many schools could implement something like this. It's just a great project and a perfect age, like a perfect age.
Yeah, like let's spread the word.
Fourth grade, just like on point for this kind of thing.
I know it really is. My son's in fourth grade, so I echo.
Yeah.
So I'll second your motion because that sounded like a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, moved and seconded that Thomas Jefferson Soil and Water Conservation District be awarded $2,006.09 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Maymount Foundation is asking for $5,000 to provide 500 students from Title I schools in the greater Richmond area a hands-on experiential SOL-aligned learning opportunity on topics including wetlands explorations and wonder of watersheds.
Absolutely.
$9.50 again.
Oh.
Like, are you kidding me? It's amazing. 500 students. I wish they'd ask for more.
Yeah, seriously, this is what an impact. 500, jeez.
Yeah.
I want to give them more.
Actually, I have a typo and it says it is 5,000, is that right?
It's
Okay, yeah,
5,000, yeah.
and they're right down the street. I'm gonna go congratulate them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a motion, I think, from.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that Maymount Foundation be awarded $5,000 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Sounds like a motion and a ringing endorsement.
Yes. And we'll go down and
Yay.
tell them. Okay, East Rockingham High School is seeking $16,496 for their biology students to visit one of CBF's educational study centers for a 3-day, 2-night residential study program. They propose the students to use drone technology. I like this one. To survey the Tangier Island from a bird's eye view and analyze how the island has changed over the years. Students will use the captured footage to create a small film that will promote their local community.
Whoever came up with this was really putting their caps on. I can't wait to see what happens.
They
I
are.
wanna
They
see.
are.
I can't wait to see the report after they do this, because it's amazing.
So is the only part of this that we can't fund is the bus driver at $390?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Let me see.
I think you should go drive.
We want them to get there safely.
We do want them to get there safely.
Um,
So
Rockingham to Tangier as well.
To Tangier.
it
yeah.
is. So, yeah, so it's from Rockingham, right? Not Elkton? Because
Well, Elkton's in Rockingham County.
Okay, same difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
The only thing I would say is that if we haven't funded other bus drivers, because I thought there was at least one project we didn't fund the bus driver, then we have to either be consistent or fund the other project that had the bus driver.
I think unfortunately the bus driver one was the one we didn't fund at all, right? Number 29, was that right?
Well, I
So-
think that there have been several that we've not funded because it counts as a staff expense.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
And so we have, and because the amount that they're asking for is the exact amount of the entire project, we can't award it and say, use the money for something else. We just have to award them $16,106.40, if I'm doing my math in my head right.
And that sounds like a motion, so I second it.
So how much is it?
$16,106.40. Staff, is that correct?
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that East Rockingham High School be awarded $16,106.40. Is that correct?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
For their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
And Madam Chair, again, staff, if you can just explain to them the reason why they didn't get the full amount is that staff's not an allowable expense. And neither I nor the chair are going to drive the bus.
I can't drive a bus. Yeah. But I want to go with them to do this. Okay. Okay.
Sounds
Orange
good.
County Public Schools is asking for $4,866 to provide meaningful watershed educational experiences for all fourth grade students in Orange County. They want to partner with Friends of the Rappahannock to provide this experience for their students. They want to do field trips to River's Edge Nature Preserve for each student, and they're going to buy supplies for the school action project.
I didn't see any issues with this one, but I have some asterisk next to it still. I don't know why.
Are we good with this one?
I think a motion to fully fund them.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we fund Orange County Public Schools at the full amount of $4,866. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're now down to Virginia Tech request for $10,000. They are developing and disseminating outreach materials to raise awareness of the connection between soil health and the health of the Chesapeake Bay through their For the Soil Awareness Initiative.
I make a motion to award the full amount.
I second it.
Moved and seconded to award Virginia Tech the $10,000 for their project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Nope. Okay, we're down to our last request, which is Friends of the Rappahannock. They are requesting funds to continue their efforts on the water and outreach development, for their water and outreach development trips. They're in need of a second work boat to help them achieve their 2025 Chesapeake Bay cleanup goals. And the boat will assist them during oyster restoration and litter removal programs, and the request is for $10,000.
I don't remember funding to buy a boat before. I love this organization. I'm a big advocate for them, and they have lots of other costs for this project. But do we fund to buy a new boat?
It's capital improvement.
Sorry?
It's a capital improvement.
It is, right? And I mean, like I said, I love the Friends of the Rappahannock. I just wanted to get clarification on
Yes,
that.
capital improvement.
Perfect. So we're good.
I'd also like to-
So it is allowed.
I
No,
don't
it's
have
not.
a, I don't think it counts as a capital improvement. I think it counts as, materials.
Material equipment.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, because
Great.
it's not a construction project. I don't think
That's right.
there's a
So we can-
prohibition against using the funding for this, and I think you can tell that it will be used for oyster restoration.
And they
Right.
do such a great job with their oyster restoration in the area. Like, I love,
So we can do it?
perfect.
I think she said
More
yes.
people to
It is okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good to
They do
know.
a great job with the boat to get students out on the water. They're a big part of our tidal network and the Lower Rappahannock.
They're
Oh,
amazing.
I like this.
I mean, I hate to even say it, but I just wanted to know.
All right, I'll make that motion then.
I
Motion?
second it.
Okay, moved and seconded that we fund the Friends of the Rappahannock at the amount requested of $10,000.
Yes,
All in
ma'am.
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that completes our work. How much did we spend?
316, 470 and 80 cents.
So that leaves about 10,000, 11,000 left. Does that just carry over to next year?
It's really more like less than 1,000.
I'm sorry?
Less than $1,000.
Oh, less than 1,000. I'm sorry, because we were at 316. I was looking at the 327 on here. Okay.
Yeah, we're at 317, 644 is the available balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good job, Madam Chair.
Good job.
We
Good
nailed
job
it.
of
That-
spending money.
That's got to be within like plus or minus 0.5% or something.
I also think that's a record meeting that I've ever had here, so I really want to thank everyone for being so well organized.
Good job, folks.
Hour and a half. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm actually dropping off some holiday gifts to some friends' kids, and so, yeah, it'll be fun. I'm glad I'm here, and I'm really thankful for everyone.
Is there any other business? Yeah. Our lovely public, any further comments?
Yeah, we have a,
Thank you.
Okay, well,
token
thank
guy
you all
would
so
just
very
like to
much. If there's
address you
nothing
once.
else, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Madam
Yes,
Chair,
okay.
thank you, everyone.
the reason is, we're unknown to you. We are 640 families that run from, are in the northern neck and the middle peninsula. It's not a big area of Virginia as far as people go, but as far as oysters go, it's about 140 million a year. Our organization is strictly for assisting people in growing oysters in the bay, whether they're adults or children. So as you funded a lot of these projects, we are the free labor. So if you look on page 4 of the brief I gave you, there's a bit on that, not in there, there's also a brief. Did you give them the brief? Sorry. We also do youth outreach. So we only reach out, but we're more of a grandparent organization because most people who live on the water have time to do those oysters. But you're right, Westmoreland State Park, you all funded all of the cages that you saw in the water.
So awesome. You guys do such a good
You
job.
use the grant money for that. We do it with the other schools, but if you look at our youth outreach, it was 1,000 when we put this together. We also saw another 350 at the Urbana Oyster Festival Education Day. So we're essentially free labor who reach out to the local schools and things like that. So it was really more just to let those that don't know about us know that TOGA exists, because we're not a school, but we do the outreach. And as I say, we put roughly 500,000 oysters in the water each year with our members. Any questions?
No, but you guys have the coolest exhibit at the festivals too. You guys always show what it looks like in a dirty tank, and then when you add the oysters to it,
Yeah.
it's a clean tank. And so I just always get a
You can watch the oysters do what their
Yeah.
thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I'd just like to add that for everyone who applied and for all of the work that they're doing, this is just really a good example of how $316,000 can affect the lives of so many children and so many people to learn about the Bay and Bay restoration across the Commonwealth. This is money well spent.
Give me chills.
Thank you. Great.
Thanks,
Thank you all for
everybody.
your consideration.
Brava.
Good job, guys. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for your leadership. Much appreciated.
Hope we don't have to sit and track a little bit.